Hello and welcome to For the Sake of Curiosity. My name is Tommy, and in this video we'll be discussing the Miranda warning and the Miranda rights. The Miranda warning is a type of notification customarily given by police to criminal suspects in police custody or in a custodial interrogation, advising them of their right to refuse to answer questions or provide information to law enforcement or other officials, also known as the right to silence. These rights are often referred to as Miranda rights. The purpose of this notification is to preserve the admissibility of statements made during custodial interrogation and later criminal proceedings. The language used in a Miranda warning is derived from the 1966 U.S. Supreme Court case Miranda versus Arizona. The specific language used in the warning varies between jurisdictions, but the warning is deemed adequate as long as the defendant's rights are properly disclosed, such that any waiver of those rights by the defendant is knowing, voluntary, and intelligent. I'm sure anyone who has watched Law & Order can quote it by heart. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions. You have the right to have a lawyer with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop answering at any time. The Miranda warning is part of a preventative criminal procedure rule that law enforcement are required to administer to protect an individual who is in custody and subject to direct questioning, or its functional equivalent, from a violation of their Fifth Amendment right against compelled self-incrimination. In Miranda versus Arizona, the Supreme Court held that the admission of an elicited incriminating statement by a suspect not informed of these rights violates the Fifth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment right to counsel through the incorporation of these rights into state law. If law enforcement officials decline to offer a Miranda warning to an individual in their custody, they may interrogate that person and act upon the knowledge gained, but may not use that person's statements as evidence against them in a criminal trial. The circumstances triggering the Miranda safeguards are custody and interrogation. Custody means formal arrest or the deprivation of freedom to an extent associated with formal arrest. Interrogation means explicit questioning or actions that are reasonably likely to elicit an incriminating response. The Supreme Court did not specify the exact wording to use when informing a suspect of their rights. However, the court did create a set of guidelines that must be followed. The ruling states the person in custody must, prior to interrogation, be clearly informed that they have the right to remain silent and that anything the person says will be used against that person in court. The person must be clearly informed that they have the right to consult with an attorney and to have their attorney present during questioning, and that, if they are indignant, an attorney will be provided at no cost to represent them. Notably, the Miranda rights need to not be read in any particular order, and they need not precisely match the language of the Miranda case as long as they are adequately and fully conveyed. In Berkmere versus McCarty, the Supreme Court decided that a person subjected to custodial interrogation is entitled to the benefit of the procedural safeguards enunciated in Miranda, regardless of the nature or severity of the offense of which they are suspected or for which they were arrested. In Berghus versus Tompkins, the Supreme Court held that unless a suspect expressly states that they are invoking this right, subsequent voluntary statements made to an officer can be used against them in court, and police can continue to interact with or question the alleged criminal. And now you know a little bit more about your rights. Make sure to gently tap the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It'll help the channel grow and help us be blessed by that almighty YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video.